Shout out to Kid Icarus on Nintendo, because that game was serious. I might even have it up there somewhere, I think I do. But I gotta say, to hell with those eggplant wizards, man. Those guys were some real bastards. What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're an indie artist looking for an album review and some promo, you can hit up Luke at redmattersite.com. And today we're going to talk about the Kid Icarus EP, which comes to us from Munster and Lanier. Now, I've already reviewed projects from both of these guys as individuals, so it was kind of interesting how this one came to be. They actually saw each other's reviews, they linked up, and here we are with this project. So that just goes to show you another thing that's cool about doing these indie reviews. And even though I can honestly say CeCe's rapping has improved on this one when compared to some of his earlier work, there's still quite a ways to go. And as far as the flows and the delivery and the lyricism, there's not much with the rapping here that sounds any better than amateurism. And I don't say that to be mean, I'm just being honest with you. Even Lanier, who was featured on a couple of tracks, including Crash, doesn't really come through with a whole lot of great bars and memorable styles. So that's one thing that needs a lot of work on here, is just that rapping in general. And then you have the audio issues, because the mixing and mastering needs a lot of work too. On that song Crash, which I just mentioned, the vocal levels are all over the place. On the outro track, Close to the Sun, you get this bass line that just overpowers everything. And on the song Nightwave, we have CeCe talking to Satan, and Satan's voice has this very distorted, weird effect on it that makes it really hard to make out. So there's a lot of audio issues here that really need to be corrected. But one thing that is pretty cool about this project is that there are some pretty interesting concepts. I mean, the opening track, The Kid, is just about a rapper pursuing his dreams, trying to make it despite what people say, so I can appreciate that because, hey, that's what every indie rapper goes through, and even the major rappers had to go through that back in the day when they were indies. So I thought that was a pretty cool track as far as the concept, and I liked F a Cosign as well. This one has a funny intro and outro that kind of explains how Lanier and CeCe linked up to make this project, and I appreciate how CeCe raps about how so many people take issue with foreign MCs, because if you're outside of North America, a lot of people automatically will dismiss you, and hell, even Canadian rappers have a hard go at it sometimes. So CeCe was speaking on some real shit with this one, and I think that was pretty dope how he brought that here. But really, the best rapping on this whole project comes from Kill Bill, who is featured on the song Angel. Angel has this nice bassy and hazy production. It's one of my favorite beats on here, and I do have to mention that Lanier produced this whole project, and his beats are pretty dope. I'll actually talk about that a bit later on the outro, but he did a good job, and I think the beats are one of the strongest points. But back to Kill Bill, he just really shows you the gap between the quality of not only the audio, the mixing and mastering, but also the lyricism and the rapping, because he comes through sounding like a pro. His shit is mixed and mastered properly when he sent it over to them, so you really get to see how much work Lanier and CeCe can do as MCs, because Kill Bill comes through to make the best moment on the whole thing, and he really outshines them. Just being honest, not saying that to be a dickhole. But man, I gotta give this one a 2.5 out of 5. It was really hard for me to come up with what I was gonna rate this. I almost went with a 2, but like I said, there were some interesting concepts and ideas here that I appreciated. And Lanier's beats were pretty dope, man. I think if you took some of these beats and got better audio quality and some better rapping on top, you could really make something that, in my opinion, would be like maybe a 3.5. I mean, just look at what Kill Bill did on Angel. He took that track to the next level. Dope beat, dope bars, good quality. So, you know, the rapping is kind of like a 2 on this, I would say, and the production is more like a 3. So a 2.5 seems pretty fair to me. It is a joint project, so you gotta lump them together. That's what I give this one, but you guys can check it out for yourself and then hit me up in the comments section to let me know what you think, man. I always want to know. You also want to do all that good YouTube and social media stuff where you like my videos, you share them, you follow me on Twitter, you retweet the videos, and you especially got to subscribe to my channel, man. We got to keep it moving. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.